The Galactic Council's hall was quiet, filled with soft lights, smooth floors, and many alien leaders sitting on floating seats. It was supposed to be a place of peace, a place where war was avoided with words. In the center of the room stood a young human girl named Lyra. She was not a soldier, not a politician, just a student sent from Earth as part of a peace exchange program. She had bright eyes, always curious, and a soft voice that often made even the coldest diplomat smile. The other alien students respected her. Some even called her hope of the humans. But peace, it seemed, was not for everyone. One day, during a protest on the Council's main world, things changed. A small group of radicals accused Lyra of spying. They claimed she had entered a restricted area. The footage was unclear, and she was alone. There was no trial, no translator, no lawyer. The Council voted in haste. Execution was the punishment. Moment the news reached Earth, every screen turned black. Every channel, every station, every ship that carried humans went silent. No protests, no threats, just ... silence ... in the United Terran Diplomatic Headquarters on Mars. A high-ranking envoy stared at the transmission with empty eyes. When the message ended, she stood up, took off her pin of diplomacy, and walked away. Across the stars, other human diplomats did the same. In the council chambers, confusion spread fast. Why are they not responding? Where is the Terran ambassador? Are we not going to talk peace? But Earth didn't reply. On the far edge of Terran space, hidden deep within a mountain range, an old bunker opened for the first time in 400 years. It wasn't listed on maps. It wasn't known to even most of Earth's own military. Inside, it was a dark room with one red button. A hand reached for it. One word was spoken into the microphone. Awaken. Far above Earth, an ancient satellite blinked for the first time in centuries. It sent a signal to hundreds of old ships in hidden orbits. They came online, their dark holes glowing dimly as power flowed back into their cores. Ships built not for exploration, but for erasure. Back on the Council world, panic had started. "They're not saying anything," said a reptilian envoy, voice shaking. "They're not even protesting, not even defending her name." "No," whispered a bird-like. "Elder, because they don't need to." Meanwhile, in a Terran orphanage, a group of children watched the news. One girl, Lyra's sister, sat frozen. Her eyes filled with tears, not just from pain, but from something worse. Silence. She had expected Earth to speak up, to demand justice. Earth had moved past words. 2 days later, near the outer border of Council space, a small patrol detected a ship. Just one. No weapons raised. No hail. Just a slow approach. It was TERRAN. Old. Rested looking. Quiet. The patrol hailed it again and again. No response. Suddenly, the patrol ship's lights died. Their engines stopped. Their weapons refused to fire. Then the Terran ship passed by slow. Cold, unbothered. They weren't here to fight small ships. They were heading somewhere else. Back in the council chambers, more confusion turned to fear. "We need to talk to Earth." "They've already heard. We didn't mean she was just a girl." Then, finally, Earth responded. Not with words, but with a signal. It played across every council screen, in every language, every world, every moon. A video of Lyra. She was standing in a classroom, smiling. She was teaching other alien children how to draw a flower. And then the screen faded. Text appeared. She was one of ours. No court, no voice, no mercy. We understand now. You don't want peace. You want silence. So now, you will have it. In the council's chamber, no one spoke. One alien ambassador dropped his translator. Another covered his eyes. They had lit a spark, but not just in Earth's heart, They had lit it in Earth's memory dot, and Earth never forgot. Asterisk the stars around Earth suddenly went quiet. One by one, human colonies, outposts, and stations cut communication with the galactic network. Trade signals were dropped. Diplomatic channels shut down. Even peaceful broadcasts of music, art, and learning from Earth's universities stopped. It was as if Earth had vanished behind a silent wall. The Galactic Council thought it was temporary. They were wrong. On Council worlds, ambassadors began to panic. Messages were sent to every Terran location, but all returned unread. Earth wasn't just ignoring them. Earth had disconnected from the galaxy. The diplomatic building on them when Council's capital, once full of human staff, stood empty. Every chair, every file, every datapad gone. Even the cleaning bots had been removed. The only thing left was a single stone placed in the center of the building's garden. Words were carved into it with fire. Do not speak for us again. Back on Earth, deep underground, black projects long buried under peace treaties were reactivated. Robotic arms moved across war factories, hidden beneath oceans. Satellites previously known as weather systems began rotating faster. On Mars, massive hangar doors opened to reveal black ships with no names. Each vessel had a single red stripe on the side. That stripe meant one thing across all human systems: vengeance. On the outer edge of Council territory, a science station noticed a strange reading. Unknown object approaching, said a squid-like technician. It's fast, too fast. The senior officer stepped forward, blinking twice. Is it Council tech? No, sir. It's human. The room froze. Inside the station, screens flickered to black. Then a single image appeared. Lyra's smiling face. Below it, just one sentence. We asked for peace. You gave us fire. The object passed by the station at impossible speed. Moments later, all power was lost. No one died, but the message was clear. Earth could have destroyed them. They chose not to. Yet, on the Council homeworld, debates grew louder. This is a declaration of war, shouted a thick-skinned war general. No, answered a pale insectoid diplomat. This is something worse. This is Earth choosing not to talk. They want revenge. No, said another, trembling. They want us to remember, forever. Days passed, then weeks. Earth stayed silent. No attacks. No demands. Just silence. Then one day, without warning, the stars blinked. A dozen Council ships simply disappeared from radar. No explosions, no distress calls. They were just gone. The only thing left behind was a black signal, a coded file. Only Terrans knew how to read it. The Council called for experts. Nothing worked. Finally, a half-human hybrid translator raised. On a Terran station, broke the encryption. She read it out loud. One by one, we erased the architects of injustice. Your Council voted to end her life. Now we vote too. This is not war. This is memory. A shadow spread through the galaxy. And wherever Terran ships moved, no one stopped them. No. One dared, not because they had declared war, but because they hadn't. And that was worse. On one Council moon, a guard was posted at an old Terran embassy. No one had been there in days. Suddenly, a ship landed, silent, dark, no markings. A single Terran soldier walked out. The guard raised his weapon, but froze. The human didn't speak, didn't aim. He simply walked to the flagpole that once held Earth's banner. He planted a red cloth in its place. Then he left. The cloth had no words, just a symbol, a child's hand holding a flower. That flower was Lyra's favorite. Across the stars, children of different alien species asked their parents the same question. Why? Did they do it? Why did they kill the human girl? And none of the parents had answers. but they all shared the same fear. What would Earth do next? In the cold reaches of deep space, a forgotten warning came alive again. A signal ancient, encrypted, and dangerous spread across the stars. It wasn't a sound. It wasn't a message. It was a code, known only to Earth's top military commanders. The code had a name whispered in fear, even by humans. Black Signal, Protocol 0. It had only one meaning. No forgiveness, no mercy, memory through fire. The Council's top intelligence agency picked up the signal seconds after it launched. At first, they didn't recognize it. Then one elder, blind in both eyes but sharp in memory, whispered, "That's not a new message. It's a ghost from Earth's old wars." His hands trembled. That's the same signal Earth used when they erased the Titan Empire. No one believed it. Now it's back. Across Council space, confusion turned to dread. Satellites stopped reporting. Council beacons went silent. Whole systems fell quiet one after the other, not because they were attacked, but because their links to Earth-born technology had been quietly shut off. Unknown to most, Earth had built a hidden backdoor in everything. From medical ships to traffic stations, if it used human software, Earth could control it. And now, they were turning off the galaxy. On the mining colony of Immerse 4, a Council warship tried to lift off, only to fall back down as its engines died mid-air. Its computer systems rebooted with one single phrase: "You used your vote. Now we cast ours." She was a child. Then came the first true appearance of the Black Fleet. No markings, no broadcasts, just massive warships, sliding through space with terrifying grace. They moved like predators, silent, cold, and precise. They didn't conquer worlds. They isolated the guilty. One by one, Council members who voted for Lyra's execution began to vanish. Some were taken mid-flight. Others disappeared from their homes. Their cities were untouched, but they were gone. On the Council capital, fear turned into action. An emergency meeting was called. "We must declare peace." "They're not answering. Send ambassadors." "They've already walked away." One leader stood. He had voted for Lyra's execution. His hands shook. "It was just one girl," he said. But then the chamber lights dimmed. A hologram appeared in the center of the hall. It was not from Earth's government. It was from Lyra's sister. She stood alone, in a quiet room. She didn't shout. She didn't cry. She simply looked into the camera and said, "You didn't just kill my sister. You told the whole galaxy that kindness is weakness. Now Earth will remind you, kindness was our choice. Now we choose ... memory." The message ended. Nothing more came. A few minutes later, 5 Council warships above the capital planet disappeared from sensors. Gone. No wreckage. No distress. Only the Black Signal echoed on their command decks, and a message burned into every wall. She smiled, even when she was scared. Now ... you will understand why. In hidden Terran archives, deep underground, Protocol 0 completed its final phase. A device was unlocked last, used 5 centuries ago. The name of the device: Echo. It was not a weapon in the normal sense. It was history, turned into vengeance. Echo was designed to simulate a memory across millions of minds at once. And Earth had chosen the memory. Suddenly, across thousands of worlds, Council citizens began to see visions. Lyra. Her final day. Her tears. Her silence. Her final words: "Please, tell them I still believe in peace." The galaxy fell into silence, not because of fear, but because now they saw her. Really saw her. But it was too late, because the Black Signal was still spreading. Earth wasn't done yet. The Council Tower stood tall for centuries. It was the center of power, the place where decisions shaped stars, where peace was promised and sometimes broken. Made from ivory stone and silver glass, it reflected the sky like a mirror. People once believed it could never fall, but that was before they killed a human child, and before Earth stopped speaking. Now, the sky over the capital turned black, not with smoke, but with shadows. A single Terran warship entered orbit. It had no escort, no message, no name. It hovered in the dark, silent as death. Council defense systems locked on. Cannons powered up. Fighters scrambled from hangars. Generals shouted orders, but the Terran ship did nothing, just hovered, watching. Waiting. Then, without warning, every screen on the Council planet turned on. Alive. Feed. From the execution chamber. The same room where Lyra had been killed. No special effects. No war music. Just a simple recording. Lyra stood in the center, shaking, confused. She looked around the room filled with cold alien eyes. She opened her mouth to speak, but they pressed the button. A blinding flash. Then silence and darkness. The live feed ended. On the Council Tower's main wall, a message appeared, burning red. You hid her death from the people. Now they will all witness it. She asked for understanding. You gave her judgment. Now we give you memory. Panic spread through the streets. Alien citizens, many of whom never even knew about the girl, stood frozen. Some cried, some screamed, some dropped to their knees. Because what Earth showed next wasn't violence. It was Lyra's life. Clips of her, drawing with alien children, helping rebuild a flooded council school, laughing with a one-eyed guard at the front gate. Broken flute she fixed for a blind musician. She had no army. No weapon. Just kindness. And they had erased her. Then the warship above the capital moved. Not fast, not loud. It turned slowly and charged its main cannon. The council scrambled. Fire. First, one general shouted, but their systems were already locked. Disabled. Taken over. Earth didn't need to fight back. Earth had already won. The cannon fired. It didn't strike the city. It hit only the council tower. Not the homes. Not the schools. Just the building that gave the order. The sky lit up with blue fire. Ivory stone. Shattered. Silver glass rained down like stars. In seconds. The council tower, the same one built 1,000 years ago, was dust. Ashes floated down over the capital. And with them came silence. Then a second message appeared, spoken in Terran Standard. Justice is not blind. It remembers faces and names. Your tower stood over the weak. Now it stands over nothing. Alien leaders gathered in bunkers. Is this it? One cried. No, said another. They're not here to destroy us. Then what do they want? To make sure we never forget. Meanwhile, in Earth's main command center, not a single celebration took place. No cheers. No pride. Not just quiet. A general looked at Lyra's photo on a small table beside him. She didn't die to start a war, he whispered. A woman. Beside him nodded. Double quotes. No, she said. But if they forgot what peace looked like, maybe they'll remember her face. In a corner of the capital city, a child picked up a glowing piece of broken glass. It had once been part of the council tower. Now it reflected the stars above, and the face of a girl she had only just learned about. The girl's name? Lyra. And across the galaxy, billions watched as a single human warship turned and disappeared into the stars. No more messages. No more strikes. Just a warning left behind in fire. Never again. The council no longer met in a great tower. That tower was gone, turned to ash by one precise shot from a Terran warship. Now, the leaders of the galaxy huddled in an underground shelter, beneath layers of reinforced steel and shame. Their faces were pale, their voices shaky. The silence in the bunker was louder than any scream. Outside, protests grew louder. On every council world, citizens had seen the truth. The girl they called a spy was just a child, a kind one, a bright one. And her name, once forgotten, was now spoken in every corner of the stars. Lyra. "We must contact Earth," one counselor whispered. "With what?" Replied another. "We already tried. They don't listen anymore." A third voice, cold and filled with fear, said, "They're not punishing us. They're making an example." At that moment, another Terran warship arrived, not at the capital, but above the homeworld of Counselor Derek's, the very one who first voted for Lyra's execution. His planet was known for peace and art, not war. Its skies were clear. Its cities were gentle. But the moment the warship arrived, power went out, not just in cities, but across the entire planet. No lights, no COMS, just stillness. Then, across the sky, a message burned in the clouds, somehow written in pure light. "You cast the first vote. Now we cast the last." Derek's was taken from his home by a squad of shadow-armored Terran soldiers. No one was harmed, no violence, just quiet footsteps, and one terrified voice asking, "Will I be judged?" A female soldier answered coldly, "You already were." Back in the underground bunker, the counselors stared at the screen as Derek's was escorted into a shuttle. No one knew where he was taken. No, one never saw him again. His chair at the emergency meeting remained empty. And then others began disappearing. 2. Every council member who had raised a hand against Lyra's fate was quietly removed. No bombs, no armies. Just silence and vanishing. The people of the galaxy watched this unfold. Many were confused, some were afraid, but others began to speak out. Young alien girl on a farming world raised her hand in a school meeting and said, "If I ever go to Earth, I want to be like Lyra." Her voice spread across millions. Lyra became a name of honor. And fear. Because now, even the council was powerless against a memory. On a military outpost in the Outer Rim, a young commander asked his superior, "Should we prepare for a full Terran invasion?" The older officer shook his head. "No, that's not how humans fight." "Then what is this?" The officer paused, looking at a floating screen showing Lyra's smile. "This is what it looks like when Earth makes sure you never forget." Meanwhile, Earth made no further moves. They had already done what they came for. The warships disappeared one by one. Satellites went dark. No demands. No flags raised. Just empty chairs where once proud rulers sat, and memories burned into the hearts of all. Eventually, the remaining council members were replaced, not with warriors, but with voices chosen by the people. They didn't sit in high towers anymore. They met in open halls. They listened. Because now, every law they passed, every decision they made, started with one question. Would Lyra have smiled at this? The fall of the council wasn't marked by war or fire. It was marked by remembrance. Earth never declared war. They declared truth, and truth burned deeper than any weapon. In the shadows of what once was the capital, a new statue was raised. It was small. Simple. A young human girl holding a book in a flower, smiling at the stars. At the bottom were 6 words. She asked for peace. Remember her. And across the galaxy, for the first time in a long time, they did. The war never officially started. No battles were announced. No invasion fleets arrived. And yet, system by system, the galaxy changed. It wasn't through flames. It was through fear. A deep, quiet fear that settled in the hearts of those who once laughed at Earth's kindness. Because now they understood. Earth didn't shout. Earth didn't threaten. When humanity was truly angry, it went silent. On the trading moon of Keller, A famous alien merchant once, proud of mocking humans, closed his shop and left everything behind. When asked why, he only whispered, "I saw the girl's face in my dreams." Council governments tried to rebuild. They held new elections. They broadcast messages of unity and peace. But no one listened. Not until a strange event happened across multiple systems at once. A quiet ripple dot in one city. Lights dimmed. Screens went black. A single sound played a soft humming voice. Lyra's. She had recorded it during her time in the exchange program Dot. She sang in a language only Earth knew, but the tune was soft. And sad. The same thing happened on 20 planets. Then 50. Then 100. No. Ships landed. No humans appeared. Only her voice. Only silence after. And everywhere, the same line appeared in white letters. You ended her song. We made it eternal. Some alien leaders called it psychological warfare. Others called it justice. But the people, the citizens, the children, the workers called it something else. A warning. One day, a small ship approached Earth's space. It carried no weapons. Only one young alien boy. An orphan from a council colony who had watched Lyra's story like a legend. He came to Earth not to ask for forgiveness, but to plant a tree in her memory. He expected to be turned away. But when his ship landed, a group of human children were already waiting for him. They handed him a small shovel. No words, just smiles. From that day forward, small trees, Lyra trees. They were called, began growing upon many alien worlds. Some were planted in silence. Some were surrounded by candles. No one was forced to plant them, but many did, because the silence was no longer just Earth's. It belonged to everyone who remembered her. Meanwhile, Earth's war machines powered down. The Black Fleet faded into the dark again. Like ghosts returning to sleep, the warships left no signatures, no trails. They had come, delivered memory, and vanished. Only the stars remained, watching. In a council bunker, one surviving elder stared at a screen showing a news report. More and more species were signing human treaties, not out of fear, but out of respect. Do you see it now? The elder whispered to a junior officer. They didn't come to rule. They came to teach. What did they teach us? The young officer asked. The elder's voice broke. That even a child's life is worth the fury of a world. On a lonely moon once used for council training, a damaged wall still carried a sentence scorched in by Terran forces. We asked for peace. You laughed. Now we are quiet, and you are listening. The burning silence had done more than any fleet ever could. It tore down pride. It reshaped laws. It made the strong feel weak, and the weak feel seen. In a quiet Terran home, Lyra's sister sat by a window. She had received no medals, no titles, just letters from alien children across the galaxy. They didn't say sorry. They didn't say we were wrong. They simply said, she made us want to be better. And that was enough. The silence continued, not in fear, but in memory. Burning, not like fire, but like a candle, one that would never go out. Asterisk. The galaxy kept spinning. Trade returned. New leaders rose. New laws were made. But no one forgot what had happened when Earth went silent. What began with one girl's death had turned into a galaxy-wide awakening. Empires that once believed in power and pride now whispered the same question before every major vote. What would Earth remember? Years had passed, but on the surface of the old council capital, one area remained untouched. The crater where the council tower once stood had been cleared of debris, but never rebuilt. The council said it was for historical reasons, but everyone knew the truth. It was sacred. Now, not because of religion, not because of politics, but because of a single human child. In the center of the crater, stood a monument. It was not tall. It wasn't made of gold or stone. It was simple. A life-sized sculpture of a young girl, Lyra, sitting on a bench. Legs crossed, a book in her lap, her face calm and smiling. Next to her, a single flower grew from the ground. It was real, and it never stopped blooming. No one watered it. No one knew how it survived the climate, but it stayed alive. Like her memory. Alien. Tourists visited the site in silence. Some brought flowers, some left letters. Children sat beside the statue and tried to mimic her smile. Some even brought books, hoping she would somehow see them. No guards stood nearby. None were needed. No one dared to harm the place. It had become the quietest, most respected spot in the galaxy. One day, a small group of Terran soldiers arrived. Wore no weapons. No armor. Only black uniforms marked with one red stripe across the chest. They walked to the statue, knelt down, and placed a metal tag at its base. It belonged to one of their own. A soldier who had died in the Black Fleet's quiet campaign. No words were spoken. Just a short salute. Then they left. Later, a drone camera picked up what they had written on the back of the tag. We fought not for victory, but for remembrance. She was not ours to protect, but now she always will be. Elsewhere on Earth, a small museum was built not to honor war, but to tell Lyra's story. Her room was recreated with care. Voice, captured from old recordings, played in the background. Alien visitors walked through the exhibit with slow steps, often leaving with wet eyes. A simple message greeted every guest at the entrance. This is the child they chose to forget. This is the child we chose to remember. One young alien girl, blue-skinned and curious, stood at the exit of the museum. She looked up at her father and asked, "Why did they kill her?" The father's voice cracked. Because they didn't think a single life mattered. And now? He looked at the glowing stars painted above the exit door. Now they know one life can change the whole galaxy. The monument, the museum, the silence, none of it was forced. Earth had not demanded it. They had simply shown the truth. And truth had done what war never could. It had united memory. It had reshaped fear into respect. Some called it Earth's quiet victory. But Earth never called it that. To humans. It wasn't a victory. It was a promise. A promise that no child of Earth, no matter how small or gentle, would ever be forgotten again. Years later, during a speech at a new interstellar school, a respected alien professor said it best. The galaxy was once ruled by towers, fleets, and titles. But it was changed by a bench, a smile, and the loss of one. And above that monument, on quiet nights when the wind passed softly through the air, some said you could hear a voice. Faint, warm, singing, still, believing in peace, the end, asterisk.